Hello everyone, welcome back to Story Time. We are currently reading Ninja Nan Strikes Again by Annaliese Matheron, and Annaliese is a local author who has very kindly said we can read her stories. So we've only got a couple of chapters left. I need to know what's going on. There are some strange people at this fun fair and we need some answers. So we are now on chapter 13, Hypno Ray. Ben didn't hear Boris Bronsky creep up on him, but he just managed to see one tattooed arm lurch out as the man tried to grab him. Ben ducked and rolled on the floor. "Come here, you sneaky kid," Bronsky said in his accented voice. "No one is permitted to be back here." Ben turned and ran, swinging his backpack round as he did, fumbling in it for the yo-yo. His fingers tightened around it. Ben stopped running and turned to face Bronsky, pulling the yo-yo from his bag. "You're my best friend." The yo-yo was not the yo-yo, it was the Wigglypuff. Bronsky sniggered. "I am not your friend, little boy. I am your worst enemy." Bronsky lurched at Ben, grabbing him and lifting him into the air. Ben kicked and wriggled and shouted and dropped the Wigglypuff in all the excitement. Then there was a crunching sound. "Oh no, look, I've broken your little toy." Bronsky began to laugh. Above the laughter, Ben could hear a sound which made him halt his squirming. It was a low growling noise. Pixie stepped out of the shadows and into the ring of light cast by the Ferris wheel. He walked over to the dead Wigglypuff and nudged it with his nose. Then Pixie looked up at Bronsky. His fangs glistened with drool and his eyes were wide. He looked terrifying. "Bronsky, this is my worst enemy," Ben declared. Now, nice little doggy," Bronsky said, putting Ben down. "Get him, Pixie," Ben shouted, and the little dog chased the screaming man into the fast approaching night. Ben made his way back over to the rear of the haunted house ride. Nan, Kieran and Uncle Cedric were already there. Ben told them that Aunt G and the Colonel were already inside. "You boys stay here," Nan said. "But," Ben began to protest. "No buts. You two just stay here and keep safe." "It's fine by me, Grandmother, just as long as I don't have to go on that scary ride," Kieran said. The two boys stood sentry at the back of the tent. Ben was imagining all the cool action Nan and the others were seeing inside the tent. He bet that Nan was using her ninja moves right now, with Aunt G backing her up. Ben itched to go in and have a look. "Come on, Kieran, we could just sneak in and have a peek, and then we'll come back out and no one will know any difference," Ben said. "I don't think so, little buddy. Nan said we should wait here and that's what we should do. Plus, it looks really scary. What sane person would want to go in there?" Ben sighed. The old Kieran would have said, "All right then," and that would have been it. Ben thought for a moment. How to get the new Kieran to go in there? Aha. "What was that?" Ben said. "What was what?" Kieran said, slightly startled and looking around. "That noise. Didn't you hear it? It sounded like Nan calling for help." "Nan calling for help," Kieran repeated. "We'd better go and get someone." "We are someone, Kieran. It's up to us. You wouldn't leave Nan in trouble, would you?" Ben asked. "No, Benjamin, I wouldn't. She's our grandmother, and it's up to us to save her, even if she did break into this ride," Kieran said. Ben sighed. "Well, come on then." He pushed Kieran in through the flap. It had worked. Ben knew that this new Kieran was all about doing the right thing. The little trick had worked a treat. But to Ben's surprise, Nan really was in trouble. Ben and Kieran walked along the darkened track of the haunted house ride, using their glow-in-the-dark yo-yos to see by. "I don't like it," Kieran said, moving closer to Ben. "It doesn't feel right, and that sound is creepy." Ben agreed. The thwomp was unnerving, but he knew the strangest bit, the glowing room, was still to come. As Ben and Kieran got to the fork in the track, Ben realised that no carts full of screaming teenagers had gone past. Which way? Kieran asked. That way, said Ben, pointing down the track, where the eerie green glow was coming from. I knew you were going to say that, Kieran said, and followed close behind Ben. The glow got stronger. They could see the big screen with the swirling black and green on it. In front of the screen was a cart, but it wasn't full of teenagers. Instead, it was full of old people. 4 of them, to be exact. The NPS members had been captured and were being held in one of the ride's carts. To the left of them was a group of 3 big men holding weapons and keeping an eye on the old people. All of a sudden, a head appeared on the screen. It was the head of a man in his late 50s, Ben guessed. He had grey hair and spectacles and looked almost wizardly. Who are you and what do you want? The head boomed as the background swelled and the thwomping continued. I could ask you the same thing, Colonel Brown shouted back. Kieran, let's move closer, Ben whispered. Kieran didn't reply. Ben looked up at him. Kieran had a peculiar look on his face, like the one he got when he played video games for too long. He was staring at the swirling image. Great, Ben said as he pulled Kieran down to the floor and crouched before him. Kieran, come on, Ben said, shaking Kieran by the shoulders. I'm Kieran, Kieran said distantly. Yes, you are Kieran. Now snap out of it, Ben said, and he clapped his hands in front of Kieran's face. Kieran blinked several times. He shook his head and gazed around before focusing on Ben. What the bloody hell are you doing here? Nan said. Nan said you weren't allowed to come. You just wait until I tell Aunt G. She's not going to be happy with you, Kieran said, standing up. Ben pulled Kieran back down. Kieran, just listen. I can't explain it all now, but you have to help me, Nan, and Aunt G are in trouble, and we've got to save them. What are you going on about, girl pants? Just trust me. I need you to close your eyes, take hold my hand, and follow me. We can't take any chances that you might get zapped again. All right then, said Kieran, but I'm not holding your hand. I'll just rest my hand on your shoulder. Deal, but you have to keep your eyes closed really tight. All right, I heard you the first time. Geez, you carry on and I'll zap you. It was good to have Kieran back. Ben led Kieran around the edge of the room. He could hear Colonel Brown continuing his conversation with the floating head. After a bit, the boys reached a door in the wall. Ben slowly opened it, and the 2 of them entered a narrow passage which opened up into a room. Ben stopped behind a stack of boxes and took a look around. The room was full of wires and computer equipment. Huddled over a makeshift control panel was the man that Ben had seen on the screen. He was talking into a microphone and pulling levers and pressing buttons on the console in front of him. On his computer screen he had a live image of the cart that held the oldies in it. Look, there he is, Ben whispered to Kieran. I can't look. You told me to keep my eyes closed, ninny, Kieran said. Oh yeah, I think it's safe now. You can open them if you like. Thanks, said Kieran, opening his eyes and taking a good look around. What now? I don't know, Ben replied. You foolish people will soon suffer the same fate as those teenagers. My hypno-ray is set to alter the brain pattern of teenage boys and girls, but as soon as I have recalibrated it, I shall alter your mind as I did theirs. Then all you will do all day is knitting, gardening, baking the odd cake, and taking regular afternoon naps. The man chuckled. We've got to stop his computer, Ben said. Leave it to me, Kieran replied. Ben gave a doubtful look. Ben, you're not the only one that can do this spy lark, and besides, I like computers. Over there is the CPU. It's like the brain of the computer. All I need to do is disconnect it. I'll need a screwdriver and a pair of scissors or something. Look in your pocket, Ben said. Kieran reached into his pocket. Why am I wearing these nasty trousers? He said, curling his lip in disgust as he pulled out the yo-yo. Twist the green part, Ben instructed. Kieran did as he was told, and all the little tools sprang out of the yo-yo. Cedric, Kieran said, shaking his head. The man's a genius. Armed with his tools, Kieran crept across to the CPU. He quietly unscrewed the front panel. Ben looked on anxiously. With all the wires exposed, Kieran was mulling over which ones to cut when the panel taken off clattered to the floor. The man at the console turned. "Who's there?" he shouted as he got up and walked towards where Kieran was working. Ben was ready. He turned the red section of the yo-yo and sprang from his hiding place to deploy the net. He swung the yo-yo and out flew the net, instantly wrapping itself around the man and bringing him crashing to the ground. Kieran sliced the last of the wires and the screens all went black. Ben and Kieran could hear a commotion starting up in the room outside. They left the man and ran back down the corridor. With the big screen now disabled, the large room was in total darkness. Kieran started fumbling along the wall. "What are you doing?" Ben asked. "Looking for a light switch." "Kieran, there isn't going to be a..." The room was suddenly flooded with bright, crisp light. Kieran grinned. "That was pure luck. Don't rub it in," Ben said. Ben saw that Nan and the others were no longer held in the cart, but the 3 guards were all asleep in the front row. Colonel Brown must have used his walking stick on them. "Ben! Kieran!" Nan said as she ran towards the boys and hugged them tight. "I knew we could count on you two," Colonel Brown said as he gave the boys a pat on the back. "Okay, still not sure who this man is. Where's he come from? Why does he want to do this to teenagers? I don't understand." We've still got one more chapter left, so come back next time when we will read the last chapter of Ninja Nan Strikes Again by Annaliese Matheron. See you soon. Bye-bye.